Record on this computer. Yay! All right, so we're live. Team Choose to Shine and everyone else's teams. I'm so excited to have you here. So tonight's call is all about Instagram, better known as IG. And I'm super passionate about Instagram. I don't know if you guys follow me, but I'm really trying to grow my Instagram and connect with people through it. I love imagery. I think it's such a great way to brand yourself, and Insta stories I'm learning is very fun. I got a lot of anxiety about it to start, but I'm actually really loving it now. And that's a lot of what I'm going to talk about at some point is Insta stories, because that's where I feel like I really need to grow, and I feel like I need to understand it more. And my biggest thing is I get all in my head, and Brenna P and Lori probably know this the best because they've been around long enough to know who I am, but I overthink everything and I get all in my head. So I have a hard time with Insta stories for that reason. Cause I feel like it has to be perfect and have to be this person, but really you just have to be yourself. So anyways, that's my little blurb to get started, but I would love to start with Brenna Provost, and you bring to the table what you have to share. And then Brenna Blaisky, you can share. And then if we have enough time, I will, or we can again, continue the call.
So I tried to keep it really short and sweet because I knew we were all bringing some different things. And then I know me and Lori had talked about just different tips of things that we've actually learned from doing Instagram. But it's really where it's at right now. So Lori is actually the one who really told me to do it and made me really start to pay attention to it. And now I'm really glad that I did, because I'm I can't imagine sticking with Facebook. Not everyone's going to feel this way. I just don't feel like Facebook is working. And Instagram can work, and for a lot of people, and for free. So it's not just younger people. There's, been so many national wake-up calls about even people that are not my age, 27, doing it. So the calls that I watched are actually private and they're paid, so that's why I wanted to redo them, even though I'd watched them before. They're from Social Team Builder, so I figured it'd be great because not everyone has that. So it's from Bonnie Engel and Holly Hillier. So obviously top coaches, which is really cool too, and they might redo training, so I can always update you on information. So some of it might seem super simple if you've looked into Instagram before, or repetitive, but I just kind of wanted to share what it was at when I was looking at all these videos. So big questions to ask yourself are, how are new people finding you? And that was something that I personally struggled with Facebook, because I started, you're not, this might burst some of your bubbles, but you're not really supposed to use your private Facebook to run your business page. Facebook doesn't want you to. So that was something where I started to move away from that and just use my like page. The problem with that is, how do you get new people to like you? You do ads, or it's kind of organic, but you have to have lots of people like you for it to be spread out in the interwebs of Facebook. Versus with Instagram, that's all hashtags. People want to be found on Instagram, which is the really cool part, and that's why they use hashtags. So anytime you search hashtags, those people are putting hashtags out there to be found, and they're all public pages so you can see their posts. Another question is, what are you sharing? That's something that I am always working on refining and really figuring out, who I am, what season am I in, how can I help people, how do I want to share about that? But those are really big questions to ask yourself when you're thinking about Instagram. You want to be super authentic, like Heather said, and she'll talk more about the stories, I'm going to guess. But even on your page too, you do want to have really great content, but you don't want it to be fake or not you. You can still be real. It's just that picture has to be super eye-catching. So you want to catch someone's attention within 1 to 3 seconds, or else they're just going to keep scrolling by you. So there's lots of different apps you can use. Snapseed. I know some people might do little mini photo shoots, and then you don't have to do that, but if you do that, you can use the photos months and months and months later. Facebook, I feel like people wanted you to be real and in the moment a little bit more. But Instagram, people constantly reuse photos. They, take 100 photos one day, and then they'll reuse them over the next very long period of time. So that's something I've just started to get into a little bit more. But Instagram, they really care more about the actual content, how it looks, and that's how you get people's attention. So another big thing is when you're looking to find people is hashtags. So I don't want to go too much into hashtags tonight because that could literally be its own training. But really quick for hashtags, if you're going to use hashtags, you can just try and use a couple for like a week maybe, whatever you're interested in, whatever comes to mind. But then you need to actually do your research, because if you're just hashtagging 21 day fix, 80-day obsession, everything we use, you're not actually attracting anyone. You're just connecting with more coaches. Hashtags are how you're going to be found. Hashtags are how you're going to connect with people. So you want it to be authentic things to you. Basically nothing to do with Beachbody.
Right.
At all.
Yeah. That's the only thing.
That's all you're going to get.
Because that's the only thing I wanted to caveat is like, never do, like you were like, maybe do that. Like never do 21 Day Fix or Shift Shop or like any of those. Like never. They should be authentic.
Yeah. Because if you're doing those, you're only going to find coaches and other social media things that's, 3 years ago, it was cool to like answer everyone's questions and give them everything they wanted. Now with all of the other MLMs, it's not the in thing to do and it doesn't work. So what you want to do instead now is curiosity marking. You want people to be like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. That's amazing, but have to message you. If you have all the hashtags of everything you're doing, they don't need to message you. So if I was like, keto diet, CrossFit Salem, all of these things that I'm doing, people would be like, oh, that's how she gets her results. Cool. They wouldn't have to say, oh my gosh, how is she doing that? What is she eating? Like, people don't have to ask the questions if your answers are all in the hashtags. But big, like, hashtags, I really feel like could be its own training, but don't just, unfortunately, not all, but some hashtags are just very popular with other MLMs. So like Dog Mom, it's not going to be one you're going to be able to use. There's tons of apps you can use to or websites to generate others. So if you write Dog Mom, it'll come up with like 30 different hashtags that are all variations of that. But it is time that you can spend to go research those, and then you can follow those hashtags. So you can go to your page, click on following, and then you can find all the hashtags you're following and go through people and find people who you will connect with that you want to follow and connect with and grow a relationship with. But you can also use those hashtags to be found by people too. So, Display Purposes was, I believe, one of the websites for following hashtags. There's a bunch of different photo editing apps. A really big thing is, I know some pictures it's okay on. I think it's more of like most of them. Like you don't want to do, again, it was in 2-3 years ago, but it's not anymore. Like if I did a picture that was like me and then it said like Team Call Tuesdays, like people won't like that as much. It doesn't get as much traction. It does depend, because I feel like if you have like, results or like catchphrasey words, it does. So everyone's going to find different things that work, but these are just videos from the top people in the network. So at least some of what they say must be true. But I think it's more of like where people used to say, like put quotes on their bodies, like, team calls and all of this different things. That doesn't necessarily work like it used to. Things just change. People want eye-catching images, especially on Instagram too. The really cool part is you can just use those awesome pictures on Facebook. So I personally do all my posts for Instagram because that catchphrase, you catch them with the picture, but then that first, I don't even know how many words it is, to be honest, like 8 to 10 words maybe, needs to be catchy, needs to get them quick, whether it's like, I struggled with this, these are my results. Like you want to catch them with that, and then you can go more into detail. The kind of cool part is you don't have to. Facebook, like a lot of people like love to see novels, or, maybe don't. I got really big into writing these like really long novels, and it's a lot more common on Facebook versus Instagram. You want to catch people's interest, catch them quick, share something snappy. You can have longer posts as well too, but that little first bit of the text is what they see first. So that's where they would click more. That's where they would read more. That's where they get interested. So really get them with a picture, maybe those first few texts as well too. Two other things are Linktree, which I'm not sure if everyone has. I need to update mine, but you only get to have one link in your bio. So if you use Linktree, you get to have multiple links in there. It's kind of cool too, because you can have like Google Forms. You can say like, you know, get a free meal plan, sign up for my free group, join my next group, here's more information about coaching, like everything like that. So it's really cool because it gives you multiple links. It looks a lot more professional, in my opinion. And then you're also not like sharing your Team Beachbody website, because again, then people have the answer to what you do. And then there is a cleaner app as well too, which will help you to unfollow people who are not following you, but also unfollow people who are ghost following you, which means that they don't like any of your content. I think it's like over the last 50 posts, they don't like anything. So I've gotten down to like 300 followers, and it's not because I don't have people. Like, I definitely want to grow how many people I'm following, but if those people aren't following me back, and I went through my whole list and I was like, I don't want to connect with this person. I've really started to focus in on people who I want to help being females. So I don't follow almost any males unless they're like my genuine friend, which I don't have a lot of, because I'll just like follow them on Facebook or something. But I've gotten rid of those, and that's another big thing is that algorithm. Like, ideally, you want to be following less than you have for followers. That like ratio helps you to get seen more. I don't know the algorithms exactly, but I do know that's something to keep in mind. So like ghost followers and people who just aren't following you, there's no point in connecting with someone and trying to forum with them and build a relationship and comment on all their posts and message them if they're not following you, because they're never going to see your posts. So that's a really big thing to check as well too. A lot of people do it like every week, and I know that's pretty common in a lot of videos. So that's it.
What did you say you used something to unfollow people like that? Like there was a app or something?
Yes. It's called, it's literally called Cleaner.
Cleaner?
Yeah. So you can get it, I think you can get it for free, but then you can only use like 50. So I just paid. It was only like $3, and you can put it on night mode, which is pretty cool because it like unfollows people overnight. I don't know if it's only, I know you're not supposed to follow more than 50 people in an hour, but I think you're also not supposed to unfollow more than 50 people in an hour, or else they think it's like spam. So if you get the like $3 paid version, you can like select all the people who you want to unfollow, and then select like unfollow, and then it'll do like the 50, and then it's like add to list, and then you can go to like settings, night mode, and then plug your phone in, and overnight it will unfollow all the people. Like, so okay. It has it like every 90 seconds it unfollows one person or something like that. So you don't go over and like look spammy. And it was only $3, so it's not super expensive. It also allows you to see who's ghost following you and different things like that. Mm-hmm. But I think there is like, I think you can get some stuff for free, but I think it only worked for like 50 people one time for me. I'm not entirely sure if I did it wrong. It was just only $3. So
yeah, it's only $3. I think it'll be all right.
You probably have an iTunes gift card somewhere.
I have a question for you, Brenna, or two actually. So on the hashtags, it was, did they mention an ideal number to follow?
So I have to rewatch that video. There's a third one. I didn't want to watch it because I did get an email saying they're updating it. Heather, you probably got the same email too. So because I've heard mixed reviews. So I've heard between like 100,000 and like 300,000. But in other newer videos from coaches, I've heard like 10 to 30,000 is where you want to put your hashtags, so there's less people. So when someone searches that hashtag, you are more likely to pop up. Mm-hmm. But the ones you want to search to find people are those 100,000 million, so you have more people to look at.
And do they say whether or not that, so when you were talking about like putting like a catchy something at the top of your post, like when you're posting in the comment, so would you put your call to action there or does it not matter? Like, is that more effective than just
action there most of the time, just because I don't feel like that's in Instagram right now. Like if you look at other like network marketers or people, like Joe Schmo does not say like, want to join me in the first thing. It's
no, but I mean like a call to action.
So I feel like that call to action is after you've like gotten people's interest. If they read the whole thing. So it's more like, you know, I can't even think of like what mine might say, but like, you know, I got these results from doing this. I was really struggling with that. I needed some me time.
So you think, I guess it was more, not like a typical call to action, like join my next challenge group, but more like, hey, do you ever find yourself, you know, whatever, XYZ, question mark, like in the hopes to engage with somebody? Or do you go into more general
sometimes
conversation?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not always, I would say kind of, not always like a question mark. And this isn't like from the training. This is just like what I've kind of been doing. Cause I feel like if they're going to read it, you have to catch their attention, just like you had to catch their attention with the photo. So hold on, let me go.
Yeah. Lori,
try to find a good example for my actual.
That's fine. It's fine.
I think you should personalize it as much as possible these days. I think you should really try to connect with people. So like, I would say, don't generalize, like, make it as personal as possible and ask people questions and ask them if they can relate to it. Because then you're finding your tribe. Like you're really speaking to someone and like digging into their soul and like having them connect with it, so they won't be able to hopefully like ignore it or say no. Like they'll think, oh wow, this girl really gets me, you know?
All right, cool. No, we can move on. I didn't mean to like.
No, you're fine.
So like one of the ones I had was like, you know, your dogs are your children when ... So then I like knew people would have to like click to read more of it. Yeah. But other ones I just kind of start, like Heather was saying, just like being authentic and being me, like morning meditation, officially halfway done, what a beautiful weekend, running into the weekend, grateful for this. So
See, Brenna, I think being more authentic was actually being specific about your dog. Like it's the opposite. Like being more authentic to me is like being more unique and like connecting with people on a level that like is really going to speak to them. Instead of being more general about like, how's your day going? Like, I think you should be more specific all the time. Like you love dogs, like talk about that. Like you love traveling. Like traveling, honestly, I think is a little general. Like I don't even like, where do you love traveling? Or what do you like doing when you're traveling? Are you like the culture girl, or do you like sitting on a beach with a drink in your hand? Like I think even speaking at to that level and that detail is where people need to be in order to really connect with the tribe. You know, like that's really what's gonna like draw people in, and where you'll find like your tribe, right? Like, cause you could say I love traveling, but if people think you're the person that like will drop at a seat of a hat and you don't plan anything and you just get drunk on the beach all day, like that's not who you are. So like speak to who you are. Like you're the planner, like you're very specific about what you want to do. Like you're a foodie, like you're not all about the drinks. Yeah, you'll have a few drinks, but like you love culture and you love food. Like sharing those aspects of what you love about traveling is what's going to connect you with the people that love traveling, but also love that part of the traveling, right? So yeah, I think it's getting as specific as possible. I think it's really like staying true to who you are, which I know can be hard because it's like you don't want to niche yourself to that level. I feel like that's the biggest problem we all have as marketers and like branding ourselves is like, honestly, and I'm speaking for myself, but like I feel like other people can relate, is in the last 5 years, I've been so scared to be exactly me because I'm like, maybe people aren't going to like me and I'm not that exciting. And I don't know, like, do I have that much to give? But really, I'm doing my entire self a disservice and everyone else that can relate to me because I'm either trying to be this fake person I'm not, which obviously comes off as really insecure and insincere and not great, or I'm just not speaking at all because I'm overthinking what I'm doing. And when I go dark, it's usually because I'm in that space where I'm like not in a good headspace and I don't know what to even post about because I don't know how to inspire people. So we all have to think about that and like get over those struggles together and think, I'm fucking awesome. And there are other people that are like me. And yes, I have weaknesses and I have positives, but there's some people that are exactly like me and can relate to me and want to connect with someone that can understand them. And like, this is like, literally, you guys are inspiring me to like together to be this person and like come out of my shell because I feel like I've been sitting here way too long. And
that's what I talk to Lori about a lot of the time too, with like, even if you have like a bad night and you're not ready to talk about it, I know it sucks and it's hard. A second thing before I finish that first thought, I find and I believe your images don't have to be like perfectly in line with what you're about. Like, I don't have to take this picture of my greasy ass face, post it on a blurry image on Instagram because people aren't going to like it, not because it's me, but because it's not catchy. So I can post a picture of me doing a handstand, finding balance or something and say, I needed some me time last night. If I was Heather, like, I was really like maybe one of her happy workout pictures or a throwback from her traveling, like, and you're saying like, I was dark last night, but it just reminds me of how far I've come because I used to be this dark. And then you get into that stuff, but you start with like that catchy phrase of like, last night sucked, but it reminded me of how far I've come. Like right. That could be that little bit that makes someone want to catch more, but you can't have it of like Heather being like, Facebook, it's just different. This picture on Instagram is not gonna get the same reaction as it used to on Facebook or on your personal page on Facebook. It's
right.
It's but not.
But I think part of that was a great point that we have to make is like, we can't compare the two, but that's the difference between the two. Like Instagram is all about imagery. It's all about vibe. It's all about like great pictures. And like, we need to understand like that's the app and that's what people are looking for. But Brenna, I'm sorry. If I had eczema and like, I'm like one of those people who like would love to be Lindsay Matway, but I don't look fucking perfect all the time. And by the way, I find it exhausting to try to look that good all the time. And you posted a pic right now where you're like, I'm fucking greasy and my eczema is out. And you're like, this is me. This is what I deal with every day. Like, I'd be like, girl, you're fucking awesome.
Well,
for Facebook, like that would work still. Like Instagram, it doesn't work, but Facebook, I feel like it still works. And that's like that's a great message. I feel like.
But you can still share about it. Like I'll share pictures of me like with better lighting, smiling with my eczema and be like, you might not see this, but I think I look shitty. Like it just has to be a good picture. You can still have the flaws. You can still talk about them, but it just has to look nice.
Yeah. And just a caveat, I wouldn't say I think it looks shitty because that's not going to inspire people. I think you need to own it and say, this is me and like, this is my skin and it's something I deal with every day. But like, if you say you look shitty, then other people with eczema are going to think they're shitty. Like,
that was a bad terminology.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
But like, that can be something that like, but I think it's fine to talk about if you're like, I think I look bad, but that's something I have to work on every day because this, like, this is just who I am. It's just my skin. It doesn't define me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a positive message. All right. We're getting off track, but I think that's a good like way of talking about like why Instagram is the way, like what people are looking for as far as content. And I want to say like caveat, like, I feel like a lot of people think it's pressure to have these perfect images. Like I know, or they want to, right? Like I know Brenna B, recently you did like a photo shoot, which we haven't even really talked about yet, which I'm super excited to know about, but like with a friend and your pictures like look great from what I've seen. So I feel like we have this, I don't know, pressure over us with Instagram where we feel like, oh my God, my brand has to be perfect and my images have to be perfect. And I want to say, yes, that's amazing. Like we follow these, like either they're coaches that have already figured it out or they're other influencers like Beyond Beachbody whose pages look amazing. And I do want to say I don't think we have to be that professional and that amazing to crush Instagram. I mean, I feel like I'm doing a good job on Instagram and I'm not to that level, nor do I know if I want to be. Like, and this is something, and I'll get into my training eventually, but this is something that I'm learning is like, you have to be true to who you are. And if like, I'm not that perfectionist and I'm never going to be that perfect of an image, then I'm not going to paint that for people because it's just not who I am. Like, it's not what I want to portray because I'm showing that I'm like this perfect person in life where I'm not. So anyways, we'll get to that. But Brenna B, I want you to share what you have to bring to the table because I know you prepared for this. So.
Okay. So, I mean, it all kind of ties in together. So it's not like I have to talk about a million different things. But the one that I watched was mostly about, so it was like about branding yourself. And she got into nice, like specific details, which I thought was really good. So like a few things she was talking about were like specifically like your bio, like what you write on your, like right when you get to your page. And she said to pick like at least 3 things that you want your page to be about. And like for Beachbody, like you don't want to post about beach. Like you don't want to consistently just post about fitness and Beachbody. Like you want it to be about your life, like other things that you're interested in. So her tips were like pick 3 things and then like cycle through those as you post your pictures. And then not to post like really don't post calls to action like all the time or like all fitness pictures like I was saying, and like don't refer to Beachbody. Just like talk about your life so people are genuinely interested in your Instagram, like or like vibe with you and see what you actually like and then throw it in there. And one of the things I thought was kind of cool was so this is that Jen Richardson. So one of her posts was like she was saying kind of like call people out for like a call to action. Like one of her posts was literally like her like top line, like you were saying, like her catchphrase was like, oh, like you think like you're part of a pyramid scheme. And then like she talked about why Beachbody isn't a pyramid scheme. And then like that ended up turning into her call to action, which was like, hey, this is actually an awesome business. If you're interested, like let me know. Which I thought was kind of a cool thing. And another algorithm tip that she had that I thought was really good was if you have a post that you think is going to get like a ton of likes, like if you normally post like fitness pictures and you get like some people like it, but then like I'll post a picture like with Jared and I'll get like double the amount of likes just because like people like that stuff, or like with your dog or something like that, then I guess like with the algorithm it'll roll over to the next day and like your picture will be more promoted the next day. So like if you post one of those pictures and then the next day do a call for action, more people, that picture, your call to action will be more visible to more people, which I thought was a good tip. And other than that, she just talked about like how to make your pictures pretty and like try to do the same tone. So use like the same editing tool or to make sure that all your pictures like look similar so your page looks pretty, because people when they first go to your page they want to see a pretty page or else they're just not even going to follow it or like give it the time of day. So that's like also what you were saying about like having like pretty posts, like people, it's all visual appeal. People,
and on that same note, it's not necessary, it's exactly what you're saying. It's not like gorgeous breathtaking photos, it's similar photos. Pick 1, 2, maybe 3 filters that you want to use. A quick like life hack is bright pictures. If you have a bright sports bra, even if you don't wear it for your workout, put it on after to take a picture. Yeah. If you're taking videos of your workout, wear cute clothes. People are going to comment on the clothes. You don't have to look cute every day, but like for the stuff you're using, eye-catching, bright, cute, go outside for part of the workout, film it out there, like things that are more eye-catching, even if you're not like always doing that. Like unfortunately, because I'm very much like Heather, I'm like greasy face, no makeup, hair in a bun. Instagram, you don't have to look perfect, but you do need it to look nicer. So even if it's not your everyday thing, like if you own the bright sports bra, you wear it sometimes. So wear it in the video you're going to take or the picture you're going to take. Like, and I say unfortunately because Instagram kind of is that perfect little world. So you can still share the real authentic you, but those more eye-catching, better-looking pictures are going to catch it faster.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Right. Do you have anything else, Brenna?
That was really it. Her thing, yeah, was just mostly about getting your point across, being yourself, and not being all about fitness and Beachbody. Like, throw some other things in there, get people to really see who you are, which is all we've been talking about.
Yeah. So, all right. So it's 8:37. How do you guys feel? Like, I can go through my spiel, or we can regroup next week, because I don't want to rush it, but I also, like, I don't know. How are you guys feeling?
I could do like 10 more minutes if that's how long your spiel is.
I feel like it will take longer.
What?
So I'm obsessed with just Jatana Jackson. I don't know if you guys follow her. Like, I mean, I would do my best at going through this. I'm gonna tell everyone that they should watch the video after. I feel like it's too much content for 10 minutes. It really it goes in, so for me, I feel like what I've been lacking the most on Instagram is Insta stories, and she like goes into deep detail as to like how to do it and like putting your best foot forward with it. So I think I'm going to share just like a piece of the beginning part of the video, because I feel like it's good homework for everyone. And then next week we can regroup on Instagram, and I'll literally like really deep dive and give you like the best Jatana Jackson like impersonation that I can, which is really hard because she's like literally 100 pounds soaking wet, super fucking bombshell, not me. But she's awesome. If you guys don't follow her, her Insta stories are like literally known by the company. Like, she's fucking blowing it out of the water, and it all comes down to just being true to who she is. And for a while, I don't like to be a girl hater, but I'm insecure still at times, and I kind of hated her for a while because I've come to terms with it because I've just been jealous of her. Because when I've watched her videos, I'm just like, oh my God, she really is amazing. Like, I literally just looked at her like, oh my God, yeah, of course this business is easy for you. You're like this bombshell that's like so skinny, and like, yeah, you're gorgeous. But I've realized like, no, she's a human being. She has 2 kids. She has a family. She puts in the work like everyone else. Like, yes, she's beautiful, but like, she's actually doing things that make sense and work and is crushing this business, not because of who she is as from an outside, but because she's like putting in the work, and like because of like who she is as a coach inside, and really caring about people and really branding herself, and being true to herself. So that's like super inspiring to me, and it's everything that I need to work on. So I've been really following her and not trying to be her, because it's not who I am. And she literally talks about that so much, and I think it's brilliant because it's so easy as a coach to compare yourself. So that's my caveat of why I chose her videos, and I think she's incredible. And one of the things I love too is she shares every bit. Like, she doesn't hold back. She gives you all of the tools, and then it's like your job to apply it. But she's not one of those coaches like, oh, I'll give you this little bit, and then maybe you can figure out the rest. She literally spells it out completely for you. So, first tip that she provided, if you guys don't already have this, you might already know, is to make your Instagram a business profile. Do you guys all have that already? Do you know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay, cool. Seems easy, but like, I just want to make sure, because it's like a game changer, because you can promote your page, you can run ads, it's more well seen by everyone. So I just want to make sure that's a like must do. And a lot of her things are kind of like maybe things that you guys already know, but I will say, going through this training and listening to this call, it was like, yes, I need to focus on that more. I need to do that more. So what I'm going to leave you guys with, and I'm sorry if you guys have seen this video. So one of the things she talks about initially is see how others see you best. And it's all about branding yourself. So there's this website. So everyone write this down. I'll post it on the page too. So howtofascinate.com. So it's an exercise that you can do, and basically it tells you what your brand should look like, how people best perceive you, like what will give you good definition of like who you are and representing yourself on social media, and then going back to the core of who you are. So it really helps you remember like, who am I as a coach? Lori, why are you smiling like that? Have you already done this?
No, I actually literally was just talking to Brenna today about brand though, and I was like, I actually did like a brand, like an archetype quiz, which I've done before, but I redid it today. So it's just so ironic that you're talking about brand and like who you are and all that stuff.
I mean, I feel like, no, I know. And I feel, oh shit, sorry. I'm like literally have 2 laptops, and I just like was like going to type on this one, but was typing here. Retard. So no, and I honestly think there's so many things like this, but coming from someone that like I now look up to and admire and is like doing so well, I'm like, okay, we need to like do this. So I'm just going there right now so we can talk about, but yeah, it's a personality test, and I've done personality tests before, but she talks about the impact this has had on her Instagram and her life and her team, about like really like, I feel like we all kind of know who we are, like we think we do, but then we don't stay like true to it every day. And I know Social Team Builder, Brenna, that like we both went through, like has tests to help with this too. But I'm always willing to like try something else that like she feels like she speaks to. And she says like, you guys are going to focus on like the first 5 things you say that are like that's me, but to really deep dive into it and really like read, like what does it say about yourself? Does that stay true to you? And try not to overthink it, because I know I'm guilty of this. Like when I know I'm going into these tests, like with my MBA, I was like, what do I want it to say? And I would like not change the answers, but like you think about it too much. Like just let yourself like experience the process, and don't try to like manipulate the test at all. Like let it be true to who you are. And I feel like we're all learning a lot from this. And this has really guided who she's been on social media and Instagram. And, you know, I feel like, so if you guys don't know who she is, again, she's like super small, cute blonde, never really had an issue with weight, but was like unhealthy, like skinny fat. Like she just found herself going to McDonald's and like being super unhealthy, and realized that this was like a super unhealthy lifestyle. And we all know this because I know all of you guys, like you want to be healthy from the inside out. She was like, regardless if I don't feel like I'm obese, like clearly I'm not healthy. I feel like shit every day because I'm fueling my body with like McDonald's and like, I don't know, whatever, like crap. So she made a change in her life. And so that's her niche. Like, it's like speaking to those people. But in the beginning, she found it hard to like want to connect with those people, because she's like, no, I should be connecting with other people. Not everyone's going to be able to relate to someone who doesn't really have a huge weight loss story and doesn't have this. Like, she literally said in the video, the last like 15 coaches she signed on literally had like blonde bobs, because that's like her Instagram hashtag that she follows and she connects with, because again, it's super personal. It's something she can relate to. Like they can talk about it, like, oh my God, I love a new haircut. Like, what made you do that? Especially if they're not a natural blonde, or like, it's just like a good conversation starter. Like, I've been thinking of doing that more because I didn't dye my hair for years. And then I went balayage and like people love it. And I get all these like compliments and I love it. I'm just like, wow, it like changed my life. And so it's like little wins like that, like hair, anything that like you're super passionate about that you can talk to. She just talks about that she connects with people and it's a game changer for her. So I want to leave it with that, because I feel like I'd love for us to do that exercise and then to talk more next week, because everything else she talks about in the video elaborates on your brand and who you are. She gives these great apps that she uses, which like are definitely hidden gems.
Heather.
Yeah.
Before you end, you talked about stories. Can you give us like a few tips for stories to use for the week before we have a week between our calls?
Yeah. All right, let me see what I can share without going into super detail.
Or just like what she's doing, because I know Bonnie Engel will say that she's always sharing like recognition, like drinking her shake, working out, coaching, like daily vitals. But I feel like personally, I think that I was like, when she said that, I'm like, I feel like that'd be annoying.
I feel like
you're always like, here's my shake. I know it's only in your stories, but I was curious what Jatana said.
Yeah, so from a high level, so I don't like take up too much time. So for content ideas, so she says like, so CTAs, hold on, my words being weird. So call to action. So she says new product launches, new coach trainings, new challenge groups, free groups, sneak peek. So those all seem obvious to everyone, but like really engaging and getting people excited, like adding in the like, you know, are you interested? Are you not interested? People think that's negative because I've had that before and people say no. And I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have like put that as an option. But like she was saying, like it puts it out there and then you know people who not to contact and like if they're interested at all. So yeah, I mean CTA should really focus on the business, but again, not giving away Beachbody or using Beachbody, but just saying like, I have this new coach training coming up. Who would be interested in learning more about it, connecting with people? So Q&A style stories, so asking questions. So she was saying like once you get to like, I mean, I would say do it now, even if you don't have a ton of followers, but once you become an influencer and you have a ton of followers, like people want to know, like, what are you doing to your hair? What kind of gel do you use if you have curly hair? What kind of makeup do you use? Like, what are your favorite products? So she was saying, like, ask a question, like, does anyone want, like, what do you want to learn about me today? Or like, does anyone want to know, like, I don't know, like what shampoo I use, or just like engaging with people, like helping, or, what would you like to learn more about? Like engaging with people to the point that they want to, cause then it helps you understand what content that you should be putting out. So diary style stories. So she says like, work with me Wednesday. So she'll share like who would like to work out with me. This is kind of like my day is like, she tells about her fitness journey. So like, this is, the type of workouts I'm doing, or tomorrow I'm going to be doing this, again, like alluding to like the program she's doing and the workout she's doing without completely giving it away to try to gain interest. I'm doing this like lifting weights workout, and then telling your coaching journey as well. So, this is where I'm at in my journey. I just hit this new rank. People are going to be like, what does that even mean? Maybe they'll reach out and ask questions. So being like obscure about it and like getting, like Brenda said, like curiosity marketing. So getting people interested without giving away all the details. I mean, overall though, she said, make sure that your stories make sense. Like you have to take people through this journey. You can't like, I don't know, be drinking your shake and then the next story, like you're, I don't know, like in the park somewhere with your dog. Like people need to understand, like, why are you sharing this? Like a lot of people will share like, wording to something, like introducing their picture, or like there has to be a journey. Like it can't be completely random because people want to make sure that they understand what your brand is and like what your interests are in following it. I believe it to a certain extent. I feel like if you're a crazy person and your day is always like unexpected, then you should speak to that, because I feel like people can relate to that. So take that as it is. That was the one thing she said that I was like, I get it, but I also feel like you can be a random person and all over the place, because people can relate to being all over the place. But she talked about contextual stories. So like a mom sharing like a kid's lunchbox. So like you're making healthy like lunch for your kids, sharing your food prep. I know like Brenna B, you have done that before. Again, how do you do something? So like how you do your hair, like curling in a certain way. Like if people follow you and you have perfect hair all the time, like they're gonna get interested in like how you actually like maintain this and how do you like do that. And like maybe you give them a trick that like you don't wash your hair every day, or like you sleep in this weird, I don't know, contraption that doesn't get your hair messy. Like that's kind of shit that people get excited about, because it's like a secret tip that you're bringing into their life and adding value for them. If you're into fashion, she was saying like the outfit of the day. I love fashion. Like that's something I definitely need to be better about. I feel like I don't share it enough. Like on my everyday, I feel like all I post is workout stuff, when really like I have this other side of me that I would love to share. So things like that, like think about your interests. Like, do you love reading? Like share books that you read. Like it's so beyond Beachbody. It has to be more of what makes you who you are. And I get stuck in that trap because I share like fitness photos and like food, and, food doesn't always have to be fitness, but it is, it's nutrition. So it's like, who are you beyond this that people will connect with? So sharing products you love. Like recently I posted, like, yes, it was kind of to engage with people, but I posted asking people what their favorite dry shampoo was. literally it was because I needed to know because I don't own one, but it was also to engage with people because I know it's a hot subject for people. Like people love dry shampoo. So like that was a way for me to engage with people. Sharing apps that you use daily, like how big are people into apps? Like they love like the new like face app that's like good lighting or like video app or whatever. So she was like sharing any kind of nuggets that you have that get people excited. And then she was saying like talking to the camera while you're putting your makeup on or cooking a meal or self-care practices, like anything again that you're adding value that someone will really benefit from, that they'll be excited about. And then the last one for content idea she said was polls. So if you guys all know, there's this feature in stories where you can add a poll so you can ask people a question. So do you like smoothies? Yes or no? Do you like Quest bars or Kind bars? Which one do you prefer? Which is brilliant because she says like this is an open door. So if someone says, if they even engage and say, yeah, I like one of these bars, she knows it's an opportunity to reach out to them about Beachbody beach bars because they're a bar person, they eat bars. So it's like being able to contact them and saying, oh, you like those? You should try these because of this reason. They're this much better. They have lower sugar. They have more protein, whatever. I don't know the reasons off the top of my head for the comparison, but it's smart because it's not sharing our product, but it's getting in their minds of like they're similar products. So I know you're a smoothie shake person. I know you're a bar person, so you can engage with them. Maybe have you ever tried an at-home workout program, or are you open to like working out at home? You know, have you ever considered coaching? She said like actually a lot of people engage with that, like online coaching. Again, keeping it kind of vague because she's not saying fitness coach. If you look at her page, you probably get an idea of what kind of coach she is, but she gets a lot of engagement from people by just saying, tell me more about it. Like those are her CTAs, like tell me more about it, or I can't wait to work with you. And she gets people to respond to those. So both of them are positive, which I think is really great because again, I've put like a yes or no and people can see how many no's you get. So that's can be negative. So like try to keep both of your CTAs positive. And then engage with the people that respond to you. And she's obviously said, like, this is kind of a no-brainer, but, you know, it's good to talk about. So, like, don't go right into the sale. She asks people, like, why are you excited about the coaching opportunity? And then starts building that conversation, that relationship to get it further. So overall, those are her content, like, tips, which, again, probably seem pretty generic. They seem pretty basic, but and I'm trying to like regurgitate what she said and she says it in a different way. So I think you guys should watch the video, but it all makes sense to me. I think it's all like extremely positive. I think I still get stuck on a daily basis of like sharing all of these things. So I think it's just like not overthinking it, like I was saying earlier, and just remembering like what we have to share people and it not having to be perfect and just being true to you. I posted it in the page. On the link, but yeah, I mean, feel free to watch it. I'm happy to talk about everything in more detail next week too, and maybe if you guys want to watch it, we can all bring to the table like what questions you have in addition to everything, because she does give like other tips and other like great apps to use. But she's fantastic. You know, to just elaborate a little bit more. I know we're like getting late here, but like she says quality over quantity, like be cohesive. Again, like don't like be concise. Like this is what I meant by like having to tell a story. Like make sure your stories line up so like you're bringing them through this journey and they understand who you are. You're not trying to sell them something necessarily, but like your passions align so they don't feel like this is really random, like who is this person? Like they want to be able to connect with you and understand you, and be able to kind of know a little bit of like what they're going to get from you on a daily basis. One of the things, so she said be consistent with your brand, and this is honestly my favorite, most epic part, because she said, again, what I was just saying, like your visuals should be recognizable to who you are. So it almost sounds like she's talking negatively about Melanie Mitro at first, but what she's getting at is like she's completely fucking opposite. And like Melanie Mitro is this like amazing but somewhat boring mom who talks about the business and is super structured and organized and would never dance on a table, for you guys that know her or follow her, right? We respect her for a different reason. Jatana is like all over the fucking place. You listen to her speak, like she literally is my new spirit animal. I used to like judge her, but like she's so like me. I feel like she's talking and then she's just like, yeah, so like that's happening. Like she just goes off on these tangents and you're like, what the hell's happening? Like she is so great and she's so true to who she is, and it just it inspires the shit out of me because she's doing great by being that person. But she basically uses an analogy that if she got, so does it, like, show me your hands actually. Who follows Melanie Mitro and knows who she is? Because I know Brenna, you're new, and Kara. Do you guys know who she is?
I don't think so.
My God. Okay. So she was a top coach for the last like 4 years. But I don't think she's your like brand completely, so it's fine that you don't follow her, but she's been very successful in this business. But Melanie is a mom of 2 boys, very straight-laced, very like great
She's
about
very conservative. Like she talks about her eczema or her anxiety, but besides that, she's like very conservative.
Yeah, super conservative.
Like has a great body and wears a full bikini.
And she would never talk about anything like inappropriate online, and I respect that. Like she would never swear. And one of the things that, so if you follow her like page, I recommend following her because she's been very successful at this business. But if you follow her like page, she has these like business tip Tuesdays. Okay, so this is like an example that Jatana used because anyone that follows Melanie knows about this. So Jatana gets on the table in her gym and is like, rocking it out in her sports bar, like showing off her shit. And she basically says, if I was trying to be someone else, if I was trying to be Melanie, and I got on the video after shaking my ass for 4 days and said, hey guys, business Tuesday, blah, 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 blah. Everyone would be like, what the fuck is this? Like, I'm not following this girl anymore. Like, this is fake. This isn't who she is. And then the opposite, if Melanie Mitro tried to get on a table in her sports bar with fake titties and was like trying to rock it out, people would be like, what is going on? So like, it's just an extreme example of saying like, be yourself, brand yourself, because people are going to be attracted to that. And if you try to steer away from that and you start following this great coach and you're like, oh my God, she's crushing it. I need to put in fake titties and a wig and try to like be that person. It's not going to work because people know that's not you. So again, extreme, but I just loved it because it was like, I could relate to both of them. And I was like, oh my God, so true.
On that same note, I like all the tips that you shared, Heather, but I don't want people to feel like overwhelmed or anything. Like,
I know, that's why I said it's a lot
too. Like, you don't have to only be sharing these questions every day. Like, you just want to share about who you are too. Like, I did a poll, like, do you want to know more about dog stuff, or do you want to, and the other option was like more health stuff, because I had like shared a few things about the dogs, and then like 15 people polled more dog stuff. So like, I'm going to share more dog stuff in my stories because that's something big about me. So like, even if it's not about fitness, like people are going to check into my story because sometimes I share dog stuff. Sometimes Jatana dances on her table and people think it's funny. They're going to check into her.
Right. Yeah. And I wasn't saying to just share fitness stuff. Like I was actually like saying the opposite, like share just things that interest you or influence you or whatever.
No, you just like, you gave off great examples. I just didn't want anyone to be like, oh my God, that's all I have to share now.
No.
I feel like one of my problems is it's like, all right, I get up, I go to work all day, I come home, I like eat dinner and like work on some Beachbody stuff, then like hang out with Jared for a little while and go to bed. Like I don't have anything to story.
No, I feel the same way, Brenna, and that's why I struggle with stories, and that's why I've avoided them for so long, and I still avoid them. And I honestly have told myself for the last 2 years that I will start sharing about my corporate journey and about like, I don't know, maybe I will start sharing more about, and maybe we can hold each other accountable because we can relate. But I'm like, this isn't exciting. Like,
yeah,
I don't really talk down about my day job either. So I've struggled with like, what is my story? Like, oh, like, you know, building this presentation right now, but also eating my healthy meal, like trying to balance both things. Like, I don't know.
And I like actually am like literally not, because I work at Raytheon and we're like not even supposed to use our phones at all. Like I can't take pictures because it's all like U.S. confidential stuff.
Right. So maybe talk about that. Be like, I'm leaving work right now, like my confidential job, and like I don't know, like I struggle with it too. So I'm happy to collaborate because it's literally been such a pain point for me, and I struggle with it daily.
Yeah,
But don't overthink it. One morning, share what you're doing in the morning. One morning, share a cute dog you saw on the way to work. Share what you do when you get home from work. Reading. Like the other day, Brenna, you shared like curling up in a blanket. Like you don't have to go crazy. Most people's, and this is something I've had to get over. Like I feel guilty when I don't like post a lot on social media because for the last 3 years, you're supposed to post 3 to 5 times a day, and that's what works. So it's been like post, share. So that's been something I've been trying to like work on overcoming, and that's real life. Most fucking people go to a job and don't sit there all day at their job on social media. So if you're at work for 8 hours and you can't have your phone, that's probably more relatable to most people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did see that on my thing too, which I thought was like actually relieving. Like she said like, oh, maybe like one post a day, or like even if you don't have something every day, like every other day is okay with Instagram, as like because stories, like I mean stories are definitely way easier than finding like a nice picture to post, because I mean like you said, like honestly it's like just being true to you, so it doesn't really matter what you're posting. So like that was kind of a nice like, okay, so I don't technically need to have like this beautiful post every day. I can just kind of like, yeah, like show me in a blanket on the couch and be like, okay.
Yeah.
At least you're showing up. Like you're still that's like a new way of being consistent as opposed to like the 3 to 5 posts a day, which is nice.
Right. And I think always, and I'm starting to realize that too, like quality over quantity. Like I do think consistency is key, but I think more so at this point, more consistency with just talking to people and like having those conversations. I'd rather people do that daily than post daily. Because I feel like I don't know. I mean, it all depends, like what your attraction plan is or where you feel like you're getting the most value. But talking to people is where I feel like people fall more than posting. Because posting's fun, right? Like most of the time. But yeah, I mean, I can totally connect with that. I mean, to your point, Brenna, and I know, like, I'm not trying to make excuses, but, like, sometimes I don't even see a dog on the way to work. Like, I mean, there's just, like, literally nothing exciting that happens. Like,
I know, I totally feel
that I'm going
But Heather, like, that's not you sharing you. Like you say you're this fashionista, like getting dressed, having your lunch prepared, like, hey guys, like already running out the door today, but I already got my chapstick to go because I'm running. Like that's something that like shares how you're preparing. Like, so it's not just on Sunday when you're meal prepping, it's in real life when you're literally running out the door, or you're like, hey, I think I'm going to wear these shoes today. Anyone on in the next 5 minutes? Or even just sharing them, like, think I'm going to wear these today. Here's my cute outfit. Like if you're super into fashion, like sharing your closet, how you pick out what you're doing, those random things that you don't think are interesting, people think are interesting.
You should see my new closet with the California closet.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
But now it's like done. Oh my God, I'm so obsessed. But yeah, no, I know. I'm just, and then that's like such a huge interest of me. It's just like, again, it comes back to obsessing over like the lighting and it being perfect. And like I take images in the gym because like the mirror is great and I don't really have that mirror in my apartment. So like, yes, these are things that I can fix, but it's just like hurdles right now for me to get over. But yeah,
no, I just wanted to like remind you that Instagram stories is real. It's so unperfect.
I know.
That's my jam. I like stories.
It's the best part of it, I think.
Yeah, it is way different than Instagram. Yeah, it's way different than actually posting on Instagram. It's like, not sloppy, but it's like, yeah, like whatever, it's your day. It's just like everything. Like it's like Brenna brushing her teeth right now. Like you could literally do a story right now, like who uses an electric toothbrush if that's something you're passionate about. Like, but seriously, I like forget that. Like it's like so many fun, quirky things. All right, ladies, it's late. I love chatting with you though. I feel like this was so fantastic. I'll definitely share it in the page, and you guys can share with your teams. I hope you guys all took notes. I hope this was helpful. I'd love to keep talking about this subject because I feel like IG is like constantly changing and there's so many exciting things. I mean, I basically in the end covered a lot of what I was going to talk about, but definitely watch her video. And I feel like we can have a follow-up like with things that people are learning and want to talk about. I also connected with a girl at Summit. I wanted to like, give you guys a heads up. And she's been wanting me to talk on her team call, her larger team call. So and it's actually the same time as ours usually. So in the next few weeks, I might team up with her if that's okay with you guys, and we'll have like a super large call. And I think it'll be fun because it will be engaging. So there'll be like new people. She's awesome. So I feel like it'll be really great to collaborate.
Hey, Heather, I just want to share that next week, if you want, I can share some stuff as well about IG.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Because I know there's some stuff that Brenna and I have talked about that just how to use like the back end of your back office of IG to kind of like organize and stay organized with who you're talking to and stuff. So
yeah.
We had talked about a bunch of tips. I feel like that would be good to bring. We can like talk more about the topic later, but like just additional tips and tricks that help you to like speed up your business on Instagram. There's so many now.
Yeah, I still had tips and tricks to share from her video and apps that she uses. So like I'll incorporate that to next week. Let's all do this branding exercise too, and we can talk about that because I think that'd be really fun and exciting. I mean, I would love us to be like more advocates for each other. And I know we talked about this last week, but also holding each other accountable. Like if I share my brand with you guys and you see me not doing that, for you to be like, not in a rude way, but like, Heather, like, why did you share that? That's not who you are. Like, I feel like, or like if I have a post where I'm questioning, like running it by you guys on the team page and saying, what do you think of this? You know, like, I feel like we can help each other more in that way because we should be, or like, I don't know, as honest with each other as we can to help us be successful and be true to who we are. Cause we're all like beautiful and have so much value to add in different ways. So
I feel like we should do a Facebook group chat just so it's like easier for us to all talk. And it's not like, sorry, but until other people actually start to show up on the calls.
Yeah, no, we can do that.
It might be watching it later. I don't think you can be in the group until you start showing up on the calls.
Yeah, I also think like doing it in the group though, like helps with engagement, people seeing that we're actually doing something, you know, and then they want to be a part of it. But
I mean for accountability purposes.
Oh, yeah.
Because then I will not miss a notification if it's a message. But honestly, sometimes I miss notifications because I get so many bullshit notifications.
Yeah, we can do a message for that. And also make sure you guys, like after the call last week, I posted the Instagram, like I posted basically a post where you can post your Instagram page and your Facebook page so we can like keep it, like follow each other and help each other. So make sure that you guys post your pages to those links as well. Awesome. I'm so excited, ladies. This was a great call. I think it's such good content for everyone. I know I gained a lot from it. It was awesome. So thank you. And I'm excited to chat again. Well, obviously we'll be chatting the next few days, but to chat live next week.
Yes.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.